My name is Clara. I am 28 years old, and I am a teacher at a small high school. I have never said this out loud before, but I think I am in love. Not with someone my age, not with someone I could build a future with. With one of my students, every morning I wake up early. I make coffee, check my lesson plans, and walk to school through the quiet streets. The air is still. The world feels calm. Everything is simple. I hold on to that feeling because once I step into the classroom, ordinary becomes something harder to hold. His name is Leo. He is 17 years old. He is quiet, careful, and thoughtful in a way most teenagers are not. He reads more than he speaks. He takes neat notes. His eyes are always alert, always watching, always thinking. I noticed him early in the year, and then I kept noticing him, even when I told myself to stop. I noticed the way he smiled when he finally understood something difficult. I noticed how he looked out the window when a question was turning over in his mind. I noticed how he folded his hands on the desk when he was nervous. Small things, private things, things a teacher should observe only to help a student learn. But I was not only observing, I was memorizing. After class, I would sit at my desk with my coffee, and sometimes his notebook would still be on the table. I would read the lines he had written, careful and honest words, and I would feel something heavy settle in my chest. I knew what the feeling was. I also knew it was wrong. Sometimes he stayed after class to ask about homework. I would lean over his notebook to explain. We would be close, close enough that our hands almost touched. My chest would tighten. I told myself it was nothing, just teaching, just helping, just doing my job. But something deeper was there, quiet and warm and painful, like a fire I had not chosen to start. One rainy afternoon, I found him sitting alone by the window, watching the drops slide down the glass. I sat across from him. Neither of us spoke. I just watched him, and then he looked up. His eyes are gentle and open, and something in that moment broke through me. I realized I had been waiting for it for weeks. I had wanted him to look at me like that, like I was more than just the person at the front of the classroom. And then the truth landed hard. He was young. He was my student. There was a line between us that existed for good reasons, a line that protected him, that protected me, that protected the trust every student deserves from every teacher. Whatever I felt inside, I could not let it become something real. I could not let longing become action. I felt a sadness so sharp it surprised me, but underneath it I also felt something steady, a quiet decision. I smiled at him softly and said, "You did well today." He smiled back. It was a small smile, easy and unaware of everything happening inside me. But it felt like light coming through a window on a grey morning. I kept my hands wrapped around my coffee cup. I kept my voice calm. I kept my heart where it needed to stay. Weeks passed. We talked about books and school and small ordinary things. I watched him grow more confident in class. I watched him come alive when a topic caught his interest. I watched him becoming more and more himself, and I stayed where I was, a quiet distance away, but caring for him in the only way I was allowed to. It was not the love people talk about in songs or films. It had no future, no name, no story anyone would ever hear. It lived in the pauses between words, in the small gestures that meant nothing to anyone else, in the careful way I made sure he always felt seen and respected and safe. That was all I could give him. So that is what I gave. One evening, after staying late to grade papers, I sat alone in the empty classroom. The lights were low. The school was quiet. I breathed slowly and let myself feel the full weight of everything I had been carrying. And then, gently, something shifted. I understood something that I had been circling around for months. Love is not always about being close to someone. It is not always about being chosen or held or wanted in return. Sometimes love is about watching someone grow and feeling grateful that you were there to see it. Sometimes love is about protecting someone from something they do not even know exists. Sometimes love is about holding a feeling so carefully inside yourself that it never becomes a burden to anyone else. I closed my eyes. I breathed again, and I felt, for the first time in a long time, something close to peace. I loved Leo, but I also respected him deeply. I respected his youth, his trust, his future. And so I kept that love folded quietly inside me, like a note tucked into the back of a notebook. Never meant to be read, but written honestly all the same. Some loves are not meant to be spoken. Some loves exist only to make you a better person, to teach you something about patience and selflessness, and the strange, aching beauty of caring for someone without needing anything in return. That was the love I had, and as the classroom sat still and dark around me, I realized slowly and with my whole heart that it was enough.